everything I had built stopped overnight.
Hi, I'm Pranjala Singh. I'm the co founder of Horizon Bloom Consulting. Today, we're talking about Global Talent Visa and how I got my Global Talent Visa. Before we start talking about it in detail, let me zoom out and take you back to 2020, 2021, and we all know what happened during that time. We were stuck in COVID. A lot of our careers had got impacted, especially as creative people whose careers dependent to be in person, showing up, shoots, and like theater, art. All of it required our in person presence. And suddenly, overnight, over a few months, everything had shut down. I was one of those people, and it happened with me. I moved from Mumbai, where I was working as a professional and built a career for over 6 years. I had to move back to my hometown in Gwalior in Madhya Pradesh, which is the heart of India, and everything came crashing because I had built a portfolio of, as a creative industries professional. I had worked in museums, I had worked in theater, I had worked at Phantom Films, a production house, I had worked as a script writer. My work truly depended on meeting people on a regular basis or showing up in person. And when COVID happened, I had to really reassess that what is the strategy that I'm going to take, what is the direction that I'm going to move towards next. This was in 2021 that I was searching for options. In front of me, what I could see, every second person was going for Canada PR. So the Canada offered an express PR option where if you had a master's, if you had certain work experience, you could be eligible to apply for that. So that was a very attractive option in front of me. Then the other option that I had was I had a master's, I had a bachelor's degree, I could go for a PhD, and that would be in UK is where I was looking at. Two options which depended on really restarting everything that I had worked so hard to build. My career until now was not dependent on my academic college. Canada was not somewhere I was looking at industry, correlation, because also one of the biggest reasons we as Indians, Canada feels like it's a 12-hour journey, it's a 12-hour flight. It feels so far away from home, so far away from family. I wanted to be somewhere accessible. UK still felt less, like more accessible than Canada. And I really, really wanted to find a way to go to UK instead. And the best option would be to continue working and building on my career as I had built in Bombay. But with the two options in front of me, with one being Canada Express PR and the other being a PhD, the more I started looking at the two options in front of me, and the more I saw that, okay, where how do I see myself building my career for the next 10 years, I saw more and more familiarity between UK and India rather than Canada and India. And I'm talking strictly in terms of creative industries, right? In so many Bollywood movies, London has been romanticized, or like you have the London Bridge, and you have Oxford Street. We know that, and the way London has established itself as a creative industries pioneer, it is 10 years ahead of India. It just in terms of the professional exposure that one can get while being in London. And I was looking at all of these things when I was sitting in Gwalior, and I'm like, okay, do I want to go back to Bombay and like resume everything as COVID was reopening? Do I want to shift to Canada and like maybe move to Vancouver and look at opportunities there? Or do I really want to find a way out and understand how can I continue working in a city as London? And interestingly, only in 2020 February, UK had launched Global Talent Visa. This did not exist earlier. Earlier, it was there as an exceptional talent category, tier 1 visa, which was hardly known, very rarely applied for, and you really had to be a BAFTA winner or an exceptional celebrity to go and apply for that visa. So this was new. This was something that I figured that okay, maybe this is a way out. And there was a lot of self-doubt to deal with, right? Like I was someone, the way Bombay is as a city, every person from across the country moves to Bombay to become a, actor or like a writer in the films. Everyone wants to work in the films. But in terms of the competitive nature of the city, you do get filled with a lot of self-doubt. Like, can I, a person who's, build a career already in a city like Mumbai, be eligible for something like Global Talent Visa? There are so many people who might be more talented than me. There are so many people who might have done bigger films than me, or like worked on more cross-cultural or cross-national projects than me. Do I really deserve to be that candidate who will actually be approved by a Global Talent endorsement body? These were some questions that did come to my mind, but then the more I started reading into it, the more I started researching, the more I started reading the official documents, I figured that okay, I need to give this a shot. This is the only time that I can give this a shot, and I deserve to give that a shot. Otherwise, I will be taking my life to a completely different time. There are only few times in life that you get a window of opportunity, and at that point, at late 2021, that was my window of opportunity when I felt this decision could either make it or break it. It either could change my life completely, or worse come worse, what will happen? I'll be where I am. I'll go back to Bombay, or I'll go to Canada, or I'll choose the second best option or the third best option that's in front of me. But the best case scenario is that I will change my life completely. I will move from Gwalior living at my parents' place to again having an independent life, like starting my 30s in London, starting the new decade of my career in a different international scenario where I will have access to those opportunities that I was missing out on until now. I just want to make it very clear that this wasn't about belittling India, or it wasn't about belittling Mumbai or Gwalior. The kind of opportunities that are growing right now in the country, they are mind-blowing. Of course, like there's a lot to get through. There's a lot of heritage development. There's a lot of creative industries appreciation, a lot of encouragement for the cultural sector. But at that point, for me, when I had already invested a decade into my career, I was looking at taking my career to an international level. And when I discovered Global Talent Visa, I could see in front of me a way to make that happen. I could see some possibility of actually taking it, like actually being able to access the UK without having to depend on or desperately applying for jobs to actually give me that job offer to move to UK, or to depend on an employer to relocate me from where I was. Global Talent Visa was giving me that thing of I can be recognized for my talent, that just on the basis of my talent, I could be relocating altogether to a different country where I would be celebrated for all the things that I've built, and I could access the opportunities that I couldn't access until now. I could collaborate with different countries as a cultural professional. I could build on it. Like I could really play around with my career. I didn't have to be working a full-time job. I didn't have to be just freelancing desperately. I could have that flexibility and opportunity. That being said, with all of these things that I could see in front of me, I did hold back on telling my parents until I had actually got it. So when I was building on my application, and I'll come to that next, when I was discovering and really learning about Global Talent Visa and trying to dig deep, that can I really, like, is that little light at the end of tunnel, like telling me that, okay, here it is, like, this is a window for you. Are you going to take it? Are you going to open that window and, like, go and knock on that door and really take that opportunity? I really kept this hope to myself. I did not share it with anybody unless I really needed help for reviewing my application or for understanding that whether I can apply for it or not. When I first started my application and drafting, understanding that, okay, all the things that I need to include as my evidences, I included everything. And I can say at this point, I've worked with 33 different organizations in the 15 years of my career. Okay, I've worked with multiple freelance roles. I've worked as a theater actor, performed at Prithvi Theatre. I've worked as a scriptwriter. I've been in Phantom Films. I've worked at Bhavdaji Lad Museum. I've worked at INTAC, Indian National Trust for Arts and Cultural Heritage. I felt like everything will be important. So I added all aspects of it, whatever I had screenshots of, whatever sort of evidences that I could put, whatever panel discussions I was part of, whatever lectures I gave. And I felt like volume would really portray that I'm a global talent, right? But I was so wrong. I eventually came to the point of seeing that participation is not saying that I am a leader. I had to change my lens completely. I had to look at it in a way that really gives and proves my worth as a leader, because I was applying for combined arts category within art and culture. So to tell you, like, Global Talent Visa has art and culture, tech and academia. In art and culture, there are multiple subcategories. So you could be a filmmaker, architect, fashion designer. You could be a person who is a visual arts, literature, all these aspects of it that are there within combined arts category. In combined arts, I was applying for a multi-purpose cultural manager, where I have worked with across the creative industries. I've worked as a manager, and I'm now proving myself to be a leader in my category, right? So it can get quite complicated. Initially it can feel that, okay, everything that you have done across will be there, right? So initially that's how I started doing my application. I felt like the more I put in, the more it'll feel like I've done a lot, and that's why I deserve to get this Global Talent Visa. And this change in the lens, this shift in perspective about how I should be going about my application, that changed a lot of language details of how things were written. My letter of recommendations had to come from very senior individuals. So many people said no when I asked them for a letter of recommendation because of conflict of interest or the institutions that they were associated with. And it was a long and hard journey. It went through multiple drafts. It went through, she's hardworking, to like, okay, she can really impact this industry or sector. And it completely changed the way I look at myself. The whole process itself was so rewarding. And then I submitted. I just submitted the application and I had to wait. It said I was mentally ready for an 8 weeks, 3 weeks wait. It was supposed to take a few weeks for my application to come back, that how long it'll take. But on the 10th day, I got the email. I was speechless. It was unbelievable. I still could not digest that something like this has come, and now it's going to change my life completely. Because I was in my late 20s, there was so many personal, like a lot of personal conflict, a lot of havoc going inside my mind. Getting this visa meant that I could truly be independent, and I could truly have, like, my career got attested, right? Like, the endorsement itself meant so much, because Arts Council England endorsed me as an exceptional talent in art and culture. Just that sentence was such a big validation in my life, in terms of where I was coming from, in terms of where I wanted to take my life with. I felt much more ambitious. I finally was comfortable breaking the news to my family, explaining to them that what the process that I went through and what it really meant. My father could not believe me. I had to show him the documents that I submitted, and he then was really happy out of the world about it. After that, everything else that conspired, moving to London gave me the opportunity of working at Nehru Centre, which is the cultural wing of the High Commission of India in London. It was an extremely prestigious opportunity to have. While being in London, I could still serve India. I could work at the cross section of India and the UK while living an international standard of life. I could freelance across the creative sector. I went and gave a guest lecture at various institutions. I worked with high-level cultural diplomacy. Every minister coming from the country, I was interacting with them. I was able to meet celebrities like Manisha Koirala or Mrs. Sudha Murthy, and some very highly inspiring individuals as part of my work. Such high-profile people where I would not dream to have access to while being in India. It would be 100 more people in that room if I would be in India. But in the UK, as part of my work in London, I could access it in a 5 people room or like 3 people room, and I could really that sort of things that I had never dreamed of doing when before I got the Global Talent Visa. Even after getting endorsed as a global talent and after I applied for Global Talent Visa, I moved to the UK in December 2021. December and Jan are quieter months in terms of, applications and interviews. But January, when I got my interviews, and Feb, I started work already. It was quite fast, everything that happened. And why was it? Is because, especially in the arts and culture, most organizations don't have funding to sponsor you as an individual. So a lot of them hesitate about, okay, will you require sponsorship? And the moment you say yes, then it's a no already, even before they see your application, right? Global Talent Visa, that wasn't the case. I could have a job without waiting to be sponsored. I could work with smaller institutions. I could work with startups and help them grow it. I could work with individuals who are really struggling to, change their career. As a cultural manager, it really meant a lot. And even as an artist, when I was working across as a theatre person or as a performer, as a dancer, I could do all of that while doing my job. I didn't have to think twice about what are the working hours like, or like what's the can I work these many hours under my visa or not. I didn't have that restriction. So that was a big deal, and that meant a lot for me, for my creative freedom, for my creative practice in that sense of it. Okay, let's cut to the present and start from where we are right now. If you're someone who's sitting in India and you have like multiple options in front of you, okay, if you are in Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore already, great, good for you. I'm happy you already have a lot of access to opportunities. I'm sure a lot of people are still telling you move to Dubai for a better life and things, right? Or why aren't you still considering any other country? You still are thinking about what's next, what's the next best thing, what's best for me, for my family. I would say think about your identity. What's the kind of identity that you want to create for yourself? Not just about safety. What's the easiest thing to do will not be the thing that will take you to the next level. You have to strive to be the best version of yourself, and then decide, then understand for your own self. I'm no one to preach you about your career, but you see for your journey, that um what will be a defining moment of your career. Not just about, okay, escaping something. It's not about that. That's your lesson 1. Lesson 2, I would say, if you have recently discovered about Global Talent Visa, if you have just got to know about Global Talent from us, from this podcast or from this YouTube video, then don't believe everything that people tell you. When I was going through this journey, I was told, oh, no, but you can't apply for Global Talent because you need a PhD for it. And this was told to me by, organizations in the country professionally advising people. And I was like, how can that be? Because I read on the official sources that that's not the case. So, don't believe everything that someone tells you. Don't believe the WhatsApp forwards. Someone might tell you that you have to be an award-winning artist of an international caliber to be on Global Talent Visa. You can't do it just on your career professional like trajectory. Don't believe that. Make sure that you read through everything. You understand if it is a life changing path for you, if it is going to give you that shot that you need in your life. One very important thing to say here is that if you feel that you are not ready yet, and that's okay. If you feel that you're not ready yet, wait, build, add, then apply. As an expert, I can tell you just a quick thing to note. Global Talent Visa has 2 categories. So there's exceptional talent and there's exceptional promise. I gave it a long shot because if you apply for the exceptional talent and you get rejected, you can still get accepted for exceptional promise. But if you apply for exceptional promise, then after that they will not consider you for exceptional talent. But the difference between the two is that you can apply on the basis of a 3-year work experience. They consider your group performances. They consider your group projects. So you don't have to be an individual being covered in news channels and I don't know what not as a celebrity. You can be someone who's worked very hard in a group exhibition or who's been in a music band as well. You can apply on that basis as well. You don't have to wait for that moment of being that all knowing, all recognized individual before applying for the Global Talent Visa. Global Talent Visa really is quite open, really, depending on how you prove yourself to be a global talent. If you are a creative person, whether you are a creative professional as an architect or even say someone who's been curating artworks but is not an artist themselves, it is important to remember that sometimes you may feel that how can I get a Global Talent Visa, right? I don't deserve to get a Global Talent Visa. It's definitely for someone who is a pure artist, who is someone who's been doing multiple exhibitions and it's just for them. It's important to remember to talk to an expert, because a lot of times what happens is when you are looking at your own profile, you don't realize all the things that you have done. You may have represented your organization for something, but you're not considering it for your profile right now. Or you may have spoken somewhere at an award ceremony or got an award, but you're completely missing that out on because it was 4 years back. So it's important to talk to an expert, review that. That's what we've realized amongst I've taken multiple calls of various creative professionals. They have ranged from a sound engineer to a writer who also runs a podcast and is a film writer. But we are putting in his application only for him being a books writer. So it really depends. You may be someone who's done multiple things, but you really want to be sure about what is that one thing that you're picking up for this application. What is that one thing that you were proving yourself to be a global talent? Today, I have already spent 4 years in the UK. I have been on a global talent visa for 3 years. And last year, in fact, in 2024, in October, I applied for my ILR, my indefinite leave to remain. And I feel so relaxed and so stress free because I don't have to worry about any sort of visa applications to the UK anymore. I am already a person who feels quite settled. I have a settled visa in the UK, and I can uh, completely be open and free flying with my career, with my options, with my more control in my life today in the UK. Thank you so much. So at Horizon Bloom Consulting, we have been reviewing and speaking to a lot of people. We've consulted over 50 individuals over the last few years, and we'll be very happy to have a quick chat with you. It's very important that, irrespective of the free webinars that we hold every 2 weeks and a monthly art and tech mixer in London, it's very important that we do analyze your profile individually, and we see that what's been your journey and how can you stand apart. What are the chances that you stand to apply for the Global Talent visa? Therefore, we have a quick 15 minutes chat. It's completely free. Feel free to book that via the website. Other than that, one thing to note is that none of us at Horizon Bloom Consulting are immigration advisors or solicitors of any nature. We are advising on our own personal account. That's why we only stick to global talent and specifically to art and culture and Tech Nation. We also have been advising on academia, again on our personal experience and our personal opinions only. This is not an immigration advice. Please consult an immigration advisor on this. We do have official collaborations in place with immigration advisors, immigration lawyers, immigration companies who we work with on a regular case-to-case basis. As soon as we finish advising you on an endorsement level, that is where we move, your application moves from endorsement to the visa to them. So things are quite clear, things are quite black and white. We would love to talk to you, and we hope to speak to you soon.